Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Outside HR. And we are super happy today to say that we are joined on this episode of Outside HR by Alicia. Alicia, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good. Alicia, you're joining us today from ExpertSender. Would you mind just explaining to people what your role is at ExpertSender and a little bit about what ExpertSender does for those who haven't heard of you guys?
Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you very much for invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Alicja Skopinska and I'm working at ExpertSender as a marketing director. ExpertSender is a marketing solution, multi-channel marketing automation solution. We are a Polish company and we provide the software to companies all around the world. So different channels and automation for marketing, that's in simple words, what ExpertSender is doing right now. And my position in ExpertSender, I'm working as a marketing director, so I'm responsible for whole marketing communication globally, because we have local offices in China, Russia, Brazil, but our headquarters is in Poland and our whole communication is designed in Poland. That's what we can say. I have 7 years of experience in marketing as well as being a team leader. And during these 7 years, I had a few times a chance to recruit to my own teams. So that's why I'm here probably to talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. That was amazing. You know, obviously I'm very lucky because I was already aware of ExpertSender, great marketing tool. I used to work with the founders, which was really great as well. And even though ExpertSender is worldwide with offices around the world, when I look out of my window here, we are actually even in the same office complex. So the reason why I was lucky enough to reach out to Alicia was because, Alicia, I saw that you had a job advertisement on LinkedIn at the time. So I thought, oh, great, this is a really hot experience for you that you are doing this right now. So I'm really lucky that I got a really experienced professional, a really experienced company, very close to us, and they're actually recruiting. So perfect scenario for me. So Alicia, it kind of leads into my first question, so people can kind of relate a little bit. Can you share what was at least the most recent role that you were hiring for, and where was it based? Was it based in Poland? Was it based somewhere else?
So maybe I will say that in ExpertSender in headquarters, we are responsible for hiring only for headquarters because we give a lot of, independence and space for our local offices to build the teams, by their own.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And in ExpertSender, we took an approach that every team leader has a full say of who he would like to work with. So we are recruiting by themselves to our own teams. We don't have a special HR department, but we know that we support each other in it. And let's say who we hired last time. It was e-commerce account manager. We were looking for very talented people who work with e-commerces because that's industry we work the most right now. Sender, and that's the position. Yeah.
Okay, so the first that's exactly what we needed to know. Now, the question I'm trying to ask all of my guests is, it's a yes/no question, and it's a question which is, do you enjoy recruiting people?
I really enjoy recruiting people, and I really enjoy the achievement at the end.
Okay, so it gives a lot of pleasure to make it successfully.
Yeah, actually, if you will find the right fit, right person, it's very, you feel succeed in it. So it's really good feeling. But the process of recruiting, sometimes it's very tough. And I think everyone knows it because it's optional thing in your daily work. So it's something which you need to put into all tasks which you have, and yeah, sometimes it's very time consuming. And we as a team leaders, sometimes we don't have, like a basic knowledge at the beginning of this process. So we need to learn something, and it's always good to have a person who supports you in the company, who has great experience. And in ExpertSender, we have someone who has really great experience. Our COO, Anya Flis, she's kind of she used to work with recruitment. She knows very well how to sometimes see people, and she always has a bigger spectrum. So it's always good to consult yourself with the decision during a recruitment process.
Oh, I mean, I totally agree. We even mentioned this briefly before we started the cameras rolling today, which was, we realized that sometimes it's very rare that you're actually taught or guided how to recruit. You become a manager and you've done the hard work, and suddenly a company gives you the responsibility, and you're maybe in your strategy for the first year is, okay, I need to expand my team by 2 or 3 people. And it's very rare. I mean, I've never been asked in my history, okay, Mick, that's great, but do you have experience in doing this? They've always just gone, okay, good luck. Let us know when you have the right people.
Yeah. And fingers crossed.
Yeah. So which is, we learn as we go, and we learn from our mistakes, I guess, which is great. But probably the flip side of that, or the negative, is that we are learning in real life situations with real candidates and real people. Is that how you were learning? Is that how you kind of gained your experience doing the same thing?
Of course, that's one way. But I think it's really important to mention at this stage that supporting each other in the company is important. So right now, ExpertSender is looking for new talented people in IT.
Okay.
IT department is looking for someone, but I'm, as a marketing director, I'm supporting this process, from 2 points of view. One is my own experience, which I got from years, and the second one, like marketing, because marketing is a part of company which is supporting recruitment the most. I think it's a communication, resources, channels where you publish all the information, and so it's really important to be together in it and to support, like every department is supporting others.
Yeah, I think, I mean, we've talked about this in the past, where marketing is such a vital part of HR, right? And a vital part of recruitment, because you have to attract candidates just the same way that you attract leads and customers, right? So
exactly,
it's very, very important. And we're finding now, at least in our industry, that when somebody does think about applying to a company like ExpertSender or TRAFFIT, they are also going to Google you. They're going to check your social media presence. So marketing is really intertwined with that.
And and I have even numbers with this, because I can see a big shift of amount of people who applied to ExpertSender since we started to be more visible on the market. And since we started to show actually our team in our official communication. We showed the real face of ExpertSender, we showed our team, and that's the feedback which we got from interviews, which we during that time. So it's extremely important, that's for sure.
Okay, perfect. So Alicia, it brings me back to the most recent hiring process that you did for the e-commerce account manager, which was, if you look at this process, let's start at the beginning. How was collecting a number of candidates for you? Like when you have a role like this, are you looking like, do you feel, okay, if we get 20 candidates, I will feel good, or 30, or maybe you only want 5? Like, how is that first step for you, or how was it last time? Did you have a problem finding even the first applications to begin with?
No, I would start earlier even, because perspective, the most important part of recruitment process is writing down the job description.
Certainly, yeah.
Because it can save my time as a team leader and the time of candidate, because if you will write down what are your expectations and what exactly you can offer the company, what kind of set of skills are you looking for, it will save a time of candidate, and I will get only applications which are very valuable for me and which I'm interested in it. So that's the most important part, and sometimes very difficult because you need to take everything from your head and
Sure.
and write it down. It's sometimes very time consuming as well.
And in that role that you just hired for, did you find, do you think that did you manage to get that balance between a really interesting and specific job description and the right number of candidates? Because what I ask is because sometimes you can make a really detailed, really specific requirements because you only want the right candidates, and you can end up with zero because you went too scary or too direct. Exactly. So how did it work this time for you guys?
So we try always to be in a balance with this, and like first of all, it need to be true what the person will be doing on this position. We are trying to put some kind of, I would say, company soul in it. So for example, in ExpertSender, can-do attitude is really important for our employees. So we are looking for people who are open-minded and like, yes, we will do it. Let's go.
Yep.
And that's what we write always in our job descriptions. So if people will see it, they will know what kind of company we are. And yeah, I can see a connection between a good job description and amount of interviews which we got actually. So yeah.
Okay, perfect. So so let's look at that then. So we know that we start at the description and making sure that we are actually creating a really good impression, but a very truthful and transparent description of what we're looking for. Then we collect our candidates. Then obviously we have a recruitment or a vetting phase, and we are going through and hopefully making offers to the right people. From your experience, which is, for you as a hiring manager, which was the part of that process that you found the most challenging?
Most challenging in this part, I would say sometimes it depends on the position, that's for sure. Because sometimes it's very easy to attract people, and sometimes it's very easy to find the right fit with this set of skills from IT world.
yeah, sure.
That's all what we all know. But I would mention maybe that from my perspective, what is the very tough for me is sometimes follow-ups.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like we need to keep all candidates very well updated, and we don't want to make them wait for an answer and keep them without an answer. And sometimes doing follow-ups, it's very time consuming, just sending a message. So that's the part of recruitment process which I found like a little bit annoying for me, but I know it's extremely important. And what I can say is that we got a lot of recommendations. So we got, people who recommended colleagues or a friend, and that's really good source of new talented people to ExpertSender. So we are using different channels to promote our open job offers, and like paid, organic, LinkedIn, other social media. Of course, everything is placed on our website. Sometimes we use external portals to promote these job offers, but there is also a channel which we call recommendation.
Sure. Yeah. And is that something that at ExpertSender, have you moved to this model of rewarding those recommendations internally, like with financial bonuses? Because I know that a lot of companies do this now, right? Is that something that you did, or really some of them are still just very much organic, like I'm happy to recommend my friend even without some kind of incentive?
To be honest, it's very organic right now, and it's not like we asked for something. It's more like I'm placing, for example, job offer on my personal LinkedIn, and then people from my company or my colleagues are reaching me. Hey, I know this person. Maybe you can see her CV, and you know she should be a good fit, for example, to your team. So I would say it's very personal and organic thing in our company.
No, I mean, that's great, right? I mean, again, it just from a vetting process or a trust building process, it really helps you kind of take a couple of steps forward, right? When they come from a trusted source, from someone within your network, I guess.
That's for sure. And it's really good feedback for a team leader, right? I can say that half of my team is recommended by someone, so it's really good. Yeah.
So you talked about it before. It was really great that you came up with we mentioned about channels and so on and distribution of kind of awareness of a job. One question I've got, because I know how traditionally this tends to work, which is you have a job opening and you try to recruit it using your organic channels. So like you share on social profiles, and then it seems to be that if you don't find successful candidates through that process, then you start to invest money. Now, what some HR people are now kind of explaining to me or trying to say is like, you know, it's sometimes better to do those things at the same time, because time is obviously an enemy as well in this. The longer you don't fulfill a role, the longer you don't have a salesperson or a marketing professional, that there is a cost to that. So in ExpertSender, or in your experience, or what you recommend is, do you do that step by step, or you also invest very early into awareness like LinkedIn and so on?
Depends on the department which we are looking for. That's true. So, for example, to be like, if we are looking for people to IT, we invest kind of money at the beginning.
Sure.
And when I was looking to my marketing team, I didn't use any budget. I just did it organically, and so depends on the position. Like, and it's kind of, you know, very similar in every industry, I would say.
And it's also about the power of your network, right? I mean, if you have I was very lucky to have a very similar situation where I recently am hiring for customer success people, and this has been my life for the last 12, 13 years. So luckily I have a network of people and recommendations. So we ended up not investing into finding somebody for that role. We were able to do it organically. However, for certain other roles, like we had some very specific roles in marketing, such as performance marketing manager or content marketing manager, where we ended up also investing into places like Rocket Jobs or places like that, where we had some organic candidates, but we wanted to have a slightly wider base, I would say. So I agree entirely, in like different industries, different network strengths can help you decide where to invest.
Exactly. That's really good. You mentioned that you need to work on your own network, like of the future as a team leader. So that's why I sometimes share, you know, job offers from other departments on my LinkedIn, because in my network there is, you know, like much more people than, for example, in the network of our IT team leader. So.
Certainly.
So that's really good point. But it's important to think about it.
Is there anything, Alicia, that you've introduced into your recruitment process that really helped you find the right people? So, you know, is there anything maybe that you implement now in the interview process or in the vetting process, that, or maybe we go back to this idea of improving job descriptions? Like, what would you say is kind of that point for you in your recruitment process where it really helps you find the right people?
To be honest, I'm gonna say the same thing about marketing communication and kind of employer branding stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's extremely important. Like, it's much easier to be visible on the market and to find good people to the team if the company has a, you know, like good positive vibration outside.
Sure.
When you can see real people. So when we started to make our job offers more attractive with pictures of team pictures, and for example, some kind of videos, that there is much more people who apply to ExpertSender. So it's really important.
I mean, this is a great tip. And then what I really like about this one is everybody can start doing that tomorrow. You know, this is not rocket science. Just start to give your
Exactly.
brand some faces and some real people, right? I mean, I still see a lot of stock photos in job descriptions, which are really a shame, right? When you consider what you can do.
Good. It's not good. And I know it's very easy to say that, because start working on your employer branding and show the team social media. It's very easy, but it's not so easy to implement, because it needs to be a kind of, strategy. So we the, new strategy 2 years ago for ExpertSender, and, like showing humans in official communication is a part of it. And we stick to this. Of course, right now it's a little bit harder because everyone are working, remotely. We are, like meeting as often in the office as we used to do it. And when we have only online meetings, people are, just without makeup. They are sitting like on the couch, sofa.
Sure.
They don't want to, show the face so easy.
Yep. I think this actually leads into my next question, which is great, because you were very recently recruiting, which is really, it's a different time. Have you noticed any kind of big changes in recruiting pre-COVID, lockdown, coronavirus, remote work, and recruiting now? If you can, one thing I'm really looking to find out, and I've seen this a little bit, have candidates changed their approach? Are they asking different questions during interviews now that you just weren't finding 12 months ago?
The biggest change is that it's much easier to find a person from other city, other city to work in ExpertSender. Our headquarters is in Gdynia, but last month we hired a person who is, I would say, in the middle of Poland. It's actually like a very small town. So, and he didn't need to move to Trójmiasto to start work in ExpertSender. And the whole hiring process was online as well. So it was much easier. And yeah, that's the first difference. That it's people are more open to work remotely, and companies are more open to hire people who wants to work remotely. It's a big change actually, but this big change, we need to adapt to this, and also managing the team remotely, it's a little bit different. So
yep.
So
I mean,
it's a challenge, but that's after recruiting.
I totally agree, and I think the question that has been challenging for me in the recruitment process of late is answering the question of how are you handling remote work. Of course, we want to be a very flexible company. Our existing team members, of course, they are working remotely, or they are coming to the office, however they decide. However, one thing for me as a hiring manager, without the support of HR, in a very similar situation, which is I'm thinking, okay, in the past when I onboarded a new team member, we were doing a lot of face-to-face training, a lot of interaction with the team, and suddenly I have to decide, even inside a live interview, if I want to change that methodology to training online. And I was suddenly, it surprised me. And of course, now we are prepared for that question and we have answers. But this is a tricky scenario because, again, we don't talk about, at least in small companies that I know, we don't talk about the recruitment process all the time, and we don't share knowledge about recruitment processes internally. So I know that maybe an IT manager down the line will get that question and maybe also be surprised. So we want to try to learn this together. But yeah, I'm finding that candidates are asking more obviously about remote work, which I think is obviously making a lot of sense. But I think that they also, I'm also seeing candidates coming from a wider range of background. So I'm seeing more overqualified candidates, for example. And this obviously comes from unemployment rates and job insecurities. I get it. So I don't know if you saw the same in recent recruitments. Have you seen did you have any unexpected candidates, let's say?
It happened actually. It's not, like very often because we had like only a few positions open during
Sure.
the, but probably we will see it when we will start recruitment for IT positions.
Sure.
That probably will be visible, but I will know it like probably next month.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, one question I have for you, we're going to wrap this up short because I really am aware of how valuable your time is, Alicia. So, is there a part of, I know we talked a little bit about this, the part of the recruitment process that you found most painful, and you would really, if you could, you would try to pass it on or find support with that? I know we talked about follow-ups, for example, is really challenging. Is there any other recruitment part of the process where you feel like, when ExpertSender starts to scale a HR department, you're kind of happy to pass that on? Like, what parts did you find challenging?
Probably if we have a problem with amount of applications, that would be a challenge, because I will need to think more about, like exposure of this ad and, getting more applications, and that would be a challenge for sure. And it could be great to have someone who will support you in it. But right now, it's okay, but probably it can be a problem maybe in the future. So for sure, like, I don't like searching a lot.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
Very time consuming.
This is the challenge. Yeah. I mean, I feel like right now the commodity that we have to give to recruitment is time. And
exactly,
if you are not a full-time recruiter, this is the one thing that you don't always have time to do, I think.
Yeah, and you need to know how particular channels are working. For example, what kind of algorithm LinkedIn is using, what kind of tools you need to put in search to find the right candidate, and how to call positions even in companies. That's kind of knowledge which you need to learn. It's really good again to have a support inside the company. So for example, my social media manager is always supporting other departments, how to search on LinkedIn, how to build your profile to make it more attractive candidates, for example. And so that's kind of your own personal brand on LinkedIn, and knowledge about this social media channel, for example.
Okay, so I really think that's valuable. I think everybody can learn from that, and I guess it leads me into my final question, because we both work with marketing departments internally. Is that when you have other departments and other hiring managers coming to you asking for your resources to help with recruitment, is that something that you're happy to give, or you're like, okay, well, listen, I've really got so many targets towards lead generation, I don't want to give up my social media manager's time or my graphic designer's time? I mean, how do you is that something that you find is a challenge today? And if not, do you think that marketing will always be interconnected with recruitment and you just have to find the time?
I learned that it's a part of marketing and recruitment. It's just obvious. It needs to be like this. And if we take care about our communication, we take care about how other departments communicate with outside world. So for example, with future candidates. So as a marketing department, we are very happy to help all other team leaders in the recruitment process, because we know that it's ExpertSender brand, and we need to look after it, from every perspective. So
it makes total sense, and I agree. I mean, it's such a employee branding, and recruitment is such a important part. It can literally mean that people don't become customers or not if they hear a bad story about recruitment or so on, right? And also it probably just helps you also make sure that even whoever you're recruiting in any department, they know your messaging, they know your style of writing, they know your energy, and so on.
Everything is connected, so it's a huge process. And but that's why I think marketing is one of the most important part of companies sometimes, because it's in every department you can find a place for marketing.
Yep, I totally agree. So especially in companies that don't have strong or large HR departments, it feels like marketing is the next the next one in line to help that happen, right? I mean, it's really like a hand in hand with growing teams and attracting good people.
Exactly, like even very simple thing like placing a job offer on the website. It's a marketing resource. So
Yep, no, I totally agree.
Yeah, that's
perfect.
true.
Alicia, so I'm looking at this is I think it's the perfect time to wrap up. What I would like to ask is if anybody has any questions about what you talked about today. I think you left some great advice and you have some great experience. Where would be a good place for people to connect with you? Are you active on LinkedIn or Twitter or something like that? Or maybe the best thing to do is just go over to the ExpertSender website and take a look. How can people find you?
LinkedIn is always a good way. I'm active on LinkedIn, so that's perfect place. But of course, visiting expertsender.com and just contact us. If someone will ask about me about marketing, there will be redirection. So that's for sure.
Perfect. Alicia, listen, thank you so much for your time today. It was amazingly valuable. I really believe that the audience will have taken something from this. And I really look forward to catching up with you in a few months and finding out how your next recruitments are going and picking up some new tips. So thanks so much for today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for the invitation. It was really a pleasure to talk with you. So cool experience. Thank you.
Thank you.